Hey Barrett, is this finally the Will Honus that you guys expected now that he's healthy and has maybe a familiarity with this defense?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say he was at any point a letdown ever since he's been here. He's done everything we've asked. I just think now his comfort level is so much higher, which, I think that's the same for most guys. Year two is usually the biggest jump, whether it's football, basketball, quarterback, receiver. Usually guys year one to year two make the biggest jump.
Obviously, you don't ever want a guy to get hurt either, but is there a sense that maybe that was a blessing in disguise that he'll have that extra year?
Yeah, because he's going to get a redshirt year. In all honesty, you look back, you never want anybody to get hurt, but thank God he didn't run down a kickoff on week one. And then, if you are going to get hurt, I'd rather have him in the fourth game than later, because he's going to get another year. And he's only going to get better and better too.
What did you see from Luke Reimer in fall camp that kind of stood out to make him, he's on special teams now and really made a name for himself in fall camp? How did he do that?
Number one, really good natural athlete. And number two, some guys just have a knack for finding the ball. Some guys, when they're wrong, they end up in the right place. I don't want to compare Luke to Levante David too early, but
sure.
Levante had that. He was a guy that he came in and played real early and didn't always know exactly where he was supposed to be, but he always ended up in the right spot. So some guys got a pretty good natural feel for just finding their way around the field.
How involved were you with getting Luke to pass on South Dakota State and walk on here in Nebraska?
I think we all got a little bit lucky with that one. But credit Kenny Wilhite more than anybody to that. He runs the walk-on program. And he did the biggest lifting in that part of it. But that was we had some good fortune in that part too, because he's going to be a really good player.
Can you notice a difference in the way the players respond to even the first week and not, as well as this week in a loss, on how they respond to that and how the culture has changed? Have you seen the culture change?
I think I think the good thing is the guys came out hungry, ready to work. The key is with these things is you just can't let it beat on you too long. I know, coaches, we were all pretty beat up after that game as well, but key now is, you got to kind of reset yourself and focus on the new task this week. It changes every week, and in this profession, you're going to have a lot of highs and a lot of lows, so you got to get over both pretty quick.
How will Northern Illinois maybe challenge you guys physically? A veteran offensive line, 1,000-yard back returning. They're going to want to try to grind this game out. Will that be a different challenge this week for you guys?
A little bit. I think they do a nice job scheme-wise. They present a lot of problems, kind of like triple option concepts, really. And like you said, I think they're going to try to. They're going to try to make the game a little bit slower, especially on the road. That's a smart thing to do. And they got a nice scheme. They got good players running it too. It's a good football team. It's not like it's a team you check off the list. It's they got a lot of good players with a really good scheme behind it. So it's a big challenge for us.
How close are you guys to where you want to be in terms of just rotating snaps among your three, inside backers the way you have?
So far, it's been pretty good. Kind of how I envision it. It's pretty close. And if you play 90+ snaps. It's really hard to do that with two guys playing the whole time, because that ends up being about 4 or 5 games extra during the season. So I think those guys were right around 55 to 60, all of them this last game, which is what I want, which in the old days that was a full game. So it's been working out pretty good so far.
Are they essentially interchangeable at this point in how you view them?
Yeah, they are. They really are. There's not situations. Every now and then I'll put a guy in if I think there's a pass rush situation he can win, something like that. But for the most part, man, those guys all got really good skill sets and are all really smart and work hard, and I can count on them to do any position out there in the field.
Can you put into sort of plain terms how much better Colin Miller is in terms of what you want him to do year over year?
Oh, yeah. night and day. And that's not a knock on him. It's just it was a brand new position for him, and I think he'd always been an edge guy even in high school. And it's just comfort level. He was always intelligent. He was always a really good athlete. But now he's comfortable, and now he knows exactly how we want to do things, technique-wise, scheme-wise, and he's taken off this year, I think.
Did the performance at your position on Saturday compare pretty favorably to any time in the last year or so?
Yeah, I thought they played pretty well. Obviously it wasn't good enough, and I think there's certain things we got to clean up. Certain things I got to clean up specifically. Those guys are. From what I give them, they're pretty accountable, so they do a good job. And the stuff that we got to get fixed, we'll get fixed. And I think for game 2, it was a pretty good showing for them.
How do you go about trying to take the good stuff out of the first? Defense overall played really well for 3 quarters. So how do you extract that stuff and also leave the sting of?
Yeah, well, I mean, tape always tells the story. It really does, and you see what you did good, you see what you did bad, and you see exactly what happened. So it's honestly, that's a question where we do that every single week.
Yeah.
You take a look at the film and you digest it, and it's cliche talk, but it's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems. So the tape always kind of brings you back to that even Steven level. And the biggest thing is when you do make a mistake, learn from it, and when you're making really good things happen, you got to continue to build on that.